Hello, this is Deborah with Black Education TV. First, I want to say thank you to Sister Trinette for sharing this story with me. It is a story that is very familiar to those who live in this country if you are melanated. Classic discrimination case. The story is coming from the Chicago Tribune and is titled, A Bank Wouldn't Deposit Wrongfully Convicted Man's Check from the State for 23 Years in Prison. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read either a portion of or all of the article. I'll read it all because it's not that long. But it says, an attorney representing a man who spent 23 years locked up for a murder that he didn't commit says that her client was turned away twice by Chase Bank when he tried to deposit a check from the state of Illinois to compensate him for his time imprisoned. Chase, meanwhile, said it made a mistake in turning him away once, but denied doing it twice, calling the second incident this week a misunderstanding. The exonerated man, Daryl Fulton, said he was proven innocent and expressed frustration with the ordeal. I'm just trying to deposit my check, Fulton said. I just wanted to be treated like anyone else. Kathleen Zellner criticized Chase for not allowing Fulton to deposit a $169,876 check from the state at its bank branch on 79th Street and Cicero Avenue, questioning whether racism played a part. The first time Fulton tried to deposit the money, Zellner said the bank said she would have to endorse the check because her firm's name was under his, though Fulton's name was on the pay to the order of line. Zellner said the law firm's name was on the check because it was mailed to her office. The second time, Zellner said Chase contended with Fulton signed above her name and the check would not be deposited in her account, would need to be deposited in her account. Zellner got on the phone with the bank employee, but the employees wouldn't deposit it, she said. In a statement, Chase said it should have accepted Fulton's check during the initial visit. The bank did not specifically address whether Fulton's race was a factor. We did offer to deposit the check on his return visit and have reached out to him to clear up the confusion, the bank said. We regret the error and apologize for the inconvenience. Zellner disputed that Chase offered to accept the check. She said he will be changing banks and that he took a new check from her client account that he can deposit. Fulton's check comes from a state fund for wrongly imprisoned people. Zellner has represented numerous wrongly convicted men and says she's never had a problem with her clients depositing their checks before. I find it particularly outrageous because he was wrongfully convicted, Zellner said. The check is from the state of Illinois to him, and I can attribute any other reason except they're discriminating against him because he's a black male. She says that she can't attribute any other reason except they're discriminating against him because he's a black male. Fulton, released from prison in November, has been working at a factory in the near western suburbs. Fulton spent 23 years behind bars for the 1994 slaying of Anwanika Bridgman, who disappeared after her 20th birthday party in Inglewood. 2 weeks after Bridgman disappeared, Fulton's co-defendant Nevis Coleman found her body in an abandoned basement on the Edgewood home where he lived with his family, and Coleman's mother called authorities. No physical evidence ever linked Coleman and Fulton to the attack. A Chicago Tribune review of court records and police reports found. Both men say they were coerced into confessing by detectives with a history of alleged misconduct and immediately recanted. They each described abuse at the hands of Chicago police officers. Fulton and Coleman were sentenced to life in prison for the murder, but recently discovered DNA evidence matched a serial rapist. Prosecutors dropped charges against the men last winter. And in March, a Cook County judge awarded the men certificates of innocence. Each man has a civil rights lawsuit pending against the city of Chicago. In the time since their release, Coleman returned to his old job as a groundskeeper with the Chicago White Sox, generating national headlines and an ESPN documentary. Wow. Okay, so from 23 years ago, they gave him his job back. That is wonderful. But the case here is discussing the fact that they discriminated against this man by not depositing his check because, as you all know, a black person with a check for over $169,000 is preposterous to some, is unheard of, and simply cannot be trusted. So it brings all of these questions. Where did he get this from? Why did they give it to him? You see, all of these questions. And so this is why the clerk decided that he shouldn't be trusted or believed, and she went against her own company policies to give this man a hard time, even though the attorney stuck her head in and said, look, this is a valid check. Same thing. Same thing happens again. And so they were forced to go to another bank to do business. Now, no one hearing this is shocked. I can assure you that I'm not. Right now, I'm just sharing the story so that our people who are still in the dark, who thinks that things are fair and that there's an equal playing field, for those Gentiles who believe that there's an equal playing field, think again. These stories continue to surface because they continue to happen. No one is shocked, but we're just shedding light on these things for those of our people who refuse to believe that they are being discriminated against. Believe it or not, you do have those who believe that. You do have some of our people who just cannot see what is happening in this country. And so it takes people like me to highlight it and show you, yes, it is indeed still happening. Wake up and smell the coffee. And with that, family, I'm going to say shalom.